Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Davis, also known as Brown and Bindi, and here on this channel we practice flexibility of the mind, the body, and the spirit. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be back and to be making this video for you. I think the best thing for me to do is to talk about what I've learned over the past month and align what I've learned with the message for today's video. Today's video is going to be about what to do when you outgrow the box that you put yourself in. When I first blew up on YouTube, I was in this place of understanding the law of attraction, understanding how to manifest, but because of my own limiting beliefs, I believed that I wasn't good enough to maintain this energy of attracting my tribe without working hard. So at that time, I was so grateful for the attention, but I was also always stressed because I told myself in order to maintain this community, I had to overwork and I had to sacrifice my rest. And here's the thing about that. God loves us immensely, deeply. So when we have beliefs that go against our well-being, God's going to say, no. We say no thank you. I will teach you to say no thank you. You know, with one child, personally, my journey, it was easy for me to say, I can do it all. I can balance everything. I can balance motherhood with being a wife and having a career of small business. I can do it all. But when I had my second child, it became a lot more difficult to play the part of the person who can balance everything. And last month or the month before, I just realized that I was constantly drained. My depression was, first of all, depression that I never even experienced much before I had my second child. Depression was like cycling through my life. I would go through phases and it would keep reoccurring. And that taught me that it was something about the way that I was living that was triggering these emotional responses from me. And I realized something had to change. So I knew that I didn't want to end my community. I knew that Brown and Bindi was not the problem. The problem was my perspective and how I was living. So I took some time off to revisit my perspective, and I learned that I had to reverse engineer my manifestation. Instead of believing that I have to work hard in order to maintain my small business, I choose to believe that I am a person who automatically attracts positive attention, positive people, and abundance, whether I'm working or whether I'm sitting in silence and stillness. Learning how to incorporate that belief took some time, and changing my belief also brought up a lot of events in my life that did not align with this new person that I wanted to become. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you feel like you're in a place where you would benefit from a personality shift, there is one major way that you can identify that, and that's by realizing that you're not content in your everyday life. You know that you're not content when you realize that you don't enjoy being present. You don't enjoy sitting in stillness and just observing all the goodness that is around you. If you sit in stillness and you try to find joy and it seems impossible, that's a big indicator that the life you chose to live, that day, does not align with the person that you want to be. Of course, we all experience circumstances that do not align with what we want, but every single day we're given the opportunity to make choices to put us in a position that aligns with that desired lifestyle. Learning to talk on camera again, oh my gosh. So what you could do is be present. That's always going to be the theme of this channel, practicing awareness and practicing being present in your current circumstances. Because when you're practicing being present, stepping away from escapism, I'm a big fan of escapism. I love television shows, I love reading, but stepping away from escapism to say, what's going on? What do I feel in this moment? And when you do that, you're going to be able to start identifying the very, very, very specific things in your daily life that do not align with the life that you want. And then you're going to be able to make choices that either allow you to lean into what you don't want, or choices that allow you to lean into the person you would rather become. Before I took my break, I realized that I was living for my business. And I don't want to be that type of person. A person who lives for their business is a person who is controlled by scarcity mindset. When I realized that I was living for my business, I realized that that was scarcity mindset. And that's not the way that one attracts financial abundance. So I took this past month to connect with myself, to spend some time with myself, to also spend some time with my family, as well as calling friends, calling family, and spending my time doing things that I enjoy, more yoga, learning about Reiki, and having more fun instead of always allowing my thoughts to circulate around my business. My growth has taught me that abundance comes when we are able to love ourselves enough to avoid the suffering that we inflict on ourselves. So I have to live in a way that reflects that. Okay, so we have realized that we are not content and we're starting to notice things about ourselves, our personal personalities that are contributing to our lives not being the way that we want. What do? What did I do? I took a month away from filming. You guys know before I took that break, I was making videos almost every day. And making videos every day was definitely feeding into that I have to keep working in order to be worthy of my dreams, right? So when you start to realize what the belief is that is keeping you in this place of suffering, this place of feeling like you're not worthy, I challenge you to step away from the belief, to take time away from the very thing that you believe you need to be happy. Because chances are there's a quality of addiction there. I definitely have a work addiction that I have to keep an eye on. As we practice making different choices, stay aware of how you are reacting when you are making different choices. And when the time comes to step back into your role, be very aware of old behaviors, because just because you took a break doesn't mean the old behaviors will not come back. It's all about awareness. I'm so grateful that I took the time to live in the unknown. Not once in my life have I ever just taken the time to live without working. This past month, I said I was taking a break from YouTube, but before this past month, I was I was either working on YouTube for the past few years, or I was a content creator, or a makeup artist, or a theater student who wanted to be an actor. I had these endeavors that, if I let it, could always take up all my time. I could always focus on it if I found the time. So this past month was the first time in my life that I've ever just lived, and it was different for me. And because it was so different, I had to keep fighting these feelings of being lazy and not worthy enough to just take a day to spend smiling at my children. It's really interesting what comes up. So as you're in the unknown, stay present and aware, because you will learn so much about yourself. Okay, so this is where it gets good. We're going to talk about our identity blueprint. So a cool new thing that I'm going to try with my videos is coming out with a blog post. So even though I might not be coming out with videos as often as I used to, there will be homework for you. Okay. If you check the description box, there will be a link to a blog post that's all about identity reprogramming. There will also be a worksheet for if you would like to dig a little deeper and work on this today, right now. So here's the thing. Taking time out of constantly working to just be taught me who I thought I was, and also gave me the opportunity to reconfigure that idea into who I want to be. I've always known that I want to be a person who is wealthy. I want to be a person who experiences financial freedom. And going from a person who was in poverty to being a person who is wealthy is a journey. So each thing I learn is going to have complexity for me to explore. That being said, our identity blueprint is something that we should always revisit and always consider as we're moving throughout our lives. I know I want to be wealthy, but now I know that I want to be wealthy while still having time to spend with my family, time to spend with my friends, and time to spend with myself. I know I want to be wealthy, yes, but I know that I do not want to sacrifice my relationship with God in order to obtain that wealth. So I must live in a way that aligns with these ideas, these concepts. So I redefined my blueprint. Yes, I am a person who is experiencing financial freedom, but as I experience that financial freedom, I am very aware of the value in the time that I spend with the people that I love. I'm very aware of the value of prayer, and very aware of the value of spending time with myself doing things that I enjoy. I've said a lot on this channel that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So I'm very aware of how important it is to fill my own cup. Knowing all of this, knowing how I've tweaked my identity blueprint gives me more directions on how to live as I experience this reality. I have an idea of myself, a concept to reference as the universe puts more events in my path that give me the opportunity to better learn who I want to be. The clarity that comes from having an identity blueprint takes so much work off of the process because that clarity helps you see the path. Instead of doing all of this work through labor, through mistakes, through experiencing contrast, instead of all that, we're able to avoid all that by saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe, and this is how I move throughout the world. I'm so glad to be back. I've missed you guys so much. I hope that you enjoyed this video because I enjoyed making it. We do have a new website, so if you're interested in seeing anything on the new website, just go to www.brownandbindy.com. Lots of new goodies. And yeah, if you like this video, subscribe. If you'd like me to expand on anything, comment down below. And that's all I got. I'll see you next video. Bye.